everyone. This is a program on Indian film industry. With that, we go on to discussing the regional reach and economics of the film industry. Apart from Hindi film industry, India has had several other smaller film industries as well. A few notable industries are Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Bengali, Marathi, Bhojpuri, Punjabi, and Assamese. At times, there would be more than one film industry per state thriving on small cinema halls and DVD sales only. You'll be surprised that Bhojpuri films ended up selling the maximum only with DVD sales. When we talk about regional films, while the Hindi film industry has been named Bollywood, regional industries christen themselves as Mollywood or Collywood depending upon the region. In the year 2018, about 305 Hindi films were certified by CBFC, which is Central Board of Film Certification, while more than 1,400 films of all regional languages combined were certified. Let us look at the trend in regional cinema. Many films are being made in one regional language, but they are dubbed and released in many languages in order to reach out to the audiences from various regions. Say, for example, Bahubali, The Beginning, which came in 2015, was shot in Tamil and Telugu and was later dubbed in Malayalam as well as Hindi. Bahubali The Conclusion, which came in 2017, was shot again in Tamil and Telugu but were later dubbed in Hindi, Malayalam, Japanese, Russian, and even Chinese. Experience the extent of cinema reaching to people from different languages, different cultures, even across countries. Then let us now talk about parallel cinema. The school of cinema that is not intended at producing a film for entertaining the masses, but rather to tell a story, following the aesthetics of filmmaking or dealing with social issues, is what we call parallel cinema. These films are called parallel as they provide an alternative from the mainstream. Imbibing the features of films from neo-realistic movement of cinema which took place in Italy, these films are non-glamorous, they are also non-melodramatic, and they do not thrive on star power. They are renowned for their serious content and socio-political commentary. Many filmmakers belonging to this stream of films have won several international laurels. Few renowned names are Satyajit Ray, Shyam Benegal, Mridal Sen, Adur Gopalakrishnan, Girish Karnad, and many, many more. Filmmakers like Hrishikesh Mukherjee, Madhur Bhandarkar, Amir Khan, etc. have also found a middle path between parallel and entertainment or commercial cinema. So while they are en route to making money, they also provide a social commentary on the way things are in the society. Now let us talk about documentaries. Focusing on documentaries, this is another branch of films which is thriving in the country, and these are basically non-fictional narratives which are told through the audio-visual medium based on facts and experiences alone. Filmmakers like Khwaja Ahmad Abbas and Anand Patwardhan have made many documentaries highlighting various social issues and at times even getting banned by the governments in regime. Say, for example, Ram Ke Naam, which came in the year 1992, India's Daughter, 2015, got banned and were circulated later through DVDs, USB sticks, and net torrents. While not being a formal part of any industry, documentaries are not produced on a massive scale, as the feature films are. Neither are they released in theatres. They are screened in film festivals and special screenings. At times, they find buyers on televisions or are uploaded on various web platforms, also dark web. But recently, the PVR chain of theatres had forayed into screening documentaries and biographies and other forms of films during few special shows every week. This will help these films in reaching their audiences effectively. And there were organizations like PSBT, Public Service Broadcasting Trust, and NFDC, National Film Development Corporation, which were funding young rising documentary makers in producing their films. When we look at the corporatization of today's industry, we know that for the longest time, film industry was an unorganized sector with most of the people working as freelancers over their entire lifespans. The contracts were verbal, the exchange of currency was untapped, and thus a lot of black money and influence played a role in negotiations and transactions. A lot of alleged connections with the underworld were also cropping up due to this reason. Many actors and actresses have been linked with the mafia, and a lot of gangsters settled abroad have been claimed to have invested in films in the country. In 2000, Government of India finally recognized the film production sector as an industry under a policy change. This shift enabled various corporate houses to get involved in the process of filmmaking and film production at many stages, such as conceptualizing, packaging, producing, branding, marketing, and presenting the product in front of the intended audience. Each of these stages is further divided into substages and delegated accordingly. The studios now are transformed into production houses as the films were not being merely produced but were also going through all the steps of production and dissemination. With the introduction of big corporates in the market, many associations were formed to deal with issues of rights of artists and technicians. The industry became structured and transparent as compared to the monopoly of the producers that existed earlier. Now let us look at the reasons for such corporatization of the film industry. The first and foremost was the opening up of Indian economy. International production houses entered the Indian market. There was foreign direct investment that was permitted. And the result was that the bar of production standards and content rose. Films became more global in their outlook and swankier in their production. Many films were now being produced all over the world, and they started getting released in India, thus enabling them to tap the market as well. In 2011, James Cameron's Avatar became the first film to surpass Indian films in terms of box office collections. And then came the digital revolution. VCRs, DVD players, laptops, PCs, mobiles, smart TVs, all of them expanded the market of films to be screened at home. The digital video cameras also eased the process of production as compared to the film cameras which used the film stock. Video was easier to shoot and reshoot, it was allowed the footage to be screened instantly, to look for errors, and it saved the time of digitization of stock and post-production as well. There were more of multiplex theaters, and a multiplex is a complex with many cinema halls. The seat capacity could be ranging from 80 to 400, and this enables films which do not cater to the masses run alongside the ones that do, and each reaching out to their own special segment without eating into each other's competition. So that was in a way very beneficial to the filmmakers in India. Earlier, small films or films which attracted less people were taken off the screens when another film was being released. Many films also lost on their ticket sales just because they were released along with some other films with popular names and thus were not given enough screens. So multiplexes solved that problem altogether. And now comes the important factor of growing overseas market. Indian cinema has made its presence felt in the United States, in the Gulf, as well as the UK and Europe. Many filmmakers like Karan Johar have been perceived to make films for the overseas audiences. With a huge Indian population settling abroad, the need for Indian films overseas is rising. But then this corporatization has had its effects. One of which was that the finances became more transparent, the production houses and producers started paying income tax, and the black money circulation was curbed in the industry. Also, there were resources that were better utilized. There was a practice of sharing actors, studios, and other resources across production houses. And contracts are legally binding now. So things are more documented as compared to being verbal. The scripts are also bound and given to the actors much before the shooting begins. There's also a fair practice and payment method, and the salaries of actors and crew have increased many-fold over the past few years. The quality of films has also improved in order to compete with Hollywood films, which are being released in India and fighting for the same share of the target audience. Many regional industries have also benefited, and they have promoted the folk heritage and culture through cinema. The impact on culture has also been seen due to cinema. The first and foremost is the revenue generation, and India has been the largest film producer and distributor since past few years. While the country releases more than 1,000 films a year, film industry of Mumbai alone has been estimated at a multi-billion dollar industry. The revenue is generated not only by the sales of tickets, but also by selling satellite broadcast rights, media partnerships, product placements, brand endorsements, and web premiere as well. Avenues for expenditure include hiring the equipment, hiring the crew and cast, traveling for shooting, music rights, getting the VFX made, editing suits, and distribution. Then we also have a 100 crore club. For the past few years, unofficial club created by the media houses is called 100 crore club. So any film that generates a revenue equivalent to or more than 100 crores enters the 100 crore club. The first film to cross it was Disco Dancer way back in the year 1982. Then we also have a 1,000 crore club. The films to have surpassed the 1,000 crore club include names like Bahubali 2, The Conclusion, and Dangal, which was released in 2017. But adjusting to the inflation rate, the revenue generated by Mughal-e-Azam in the year 1975 remains the highest till now in the history of Indian cinema. Another aspect is the stardom and glamour that films provide. Now, stardom, what is it? It is a phenomena under which the actors, musicians, and other public faces are idolized by the public for their work on screen. The Indian audiences puts the movie stars on a higher pedestal. So it is very easy to find people copying certain hairstyles, certain way of talking, gait, or dressings, all of it coming from stardom of people who they hold dear. The actors become the ambassadors of a film despite the fact that it took more than 100 people to produce a film. The adulation is such that the places power in their hands. They make hits out of films through ticket sales and they set fashion trends. They also attract a lot of unwarranted attention to their private lives. Paparazzi were also born out of this phenomena. And stardom has also resulted in deterioration of content in some instances. And wherever there is money, there is society, there is culture, politics cannot be left far behind. Politics is the second career for stars who have gained popularity over the years. Alternatively, a number of stars use films for propaganda. Many fringe political groups use it to get highlighted in the mainstream media. Say, for example, Rajasthan's Karni Sena protested against Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Padmavat in 2017, and it earned political mileage out of it. There is also certain kind of social impact that films have. Of course, there's a huge fan following. There is a behavior imitation that we usually notice amongst people because people like to copy their stars, they like to look like them and talk like them. There are also body image issues that have been coming up. And this is a phenomena that began way back when teenagers started copying Barbie in the United States. And then the law was made to make the body proportion of the Barbie doll more adhering to the real. So this is how body image issues have also become important from point of view of social impact that films have been having. Dangerous imitations by youth and children in order to idolize has been seen of late. And hence, statutory advice is always presented in the beginning of any film that we watch. For example, there will be advice which would be talking in terms of alcohol consumption or smoking or drugs, etc. So disclaimers are always there. And films are also a reflection of the social problems that exist. So, cinema that ways has always been tied to the social impact that it has had over the years on the society. The next that we're going to talk about is the art and production of films. We all know that it is the digital era and it entered the films in late 1990s. The film stock was replaced by tapes which were loaded in cameras, unloaded, and then went straight into editing labs. They could be rescued by being overwritten, at least for the stock footage. And the cost of initial resources also required to produce a film, and this was reduced. The cameras were cheaper, more operable in lesser light. There was no shortage of stock. The footage could be reviewed soon after it was shot, and no time was wasted in processing. Also, adding special effects became very easy with the help of production. This was one of the many reasons for revival of religious and mythological epics being made for screen, as many visual tricks were invented along with this innovation. During this era of the films, the reels used to reach the cinema halls in tin boxes to be loaded in the projectors and screened. With digital technology, the film does not even need to reach the hall physically. The show can be relayed over, reducing the chances of being copied and of being pirated. Earlier, the banned C towns used to receive already run prints and reprints of the same film after the film got off the screens in the A towns. Thus, farther away, a town more spoiled the print of a film reaching it. With digital technology, each copy is as good as the original, and many production houses like the Ad Lab, Sahara, and UTV have started producing films on the digital formats. This reduction in cost has allowed a scope for experimentation with the content, and concepts that were supposed to be riskier earlier found many takers after the introduction of the digital. So that ends the digital story. Now let us look at the international presence of films. From Raj Kapoor's Soviet connection to inspiring musicals in Hollywood, Indian cinema has earned laurels and money overseas. Tamil, Malayali, and Bengali films have also won awards such as Oscars and Cannes. Indian filmmakers like Satyajit Ray, Mridal Sen, Mani Kaul, and in recent times Anurag Kashyap are a few flag bearers. A.R. Rahman, Bhanu Athaiya, Gulzar are a few of the Indians who have been felicitated at the Academy Awards. Then we also have a certain niche segment of filmmakers, which is the diaspora. NRIs have started venturing into making films. They collectively are also called diaspora filmmakers. These films deal with the lives and struggles of NRIs. The list of directors and producers has names like Gurinder Chadha, Meera Nair, Manoj N. Shyamalan, etc. But after all this beautiful, huge picture that we see, there are also certain challenges in the industry, like the uncertainty in the business. So the formulae films used to be the romantic films, the heist films, comedy films, action films, and family drama. All of it combined with good music and star power. Piracy is a major challenge that films face. So after the first screening, the films get pirated and is available on dark web and everywhere else in various other formats. So people do not go and spend money on buying tickets, rather see the pirated versions of them. Then there is also the political and social scenario that helps find acceptance or rejection for a film. Also, there is competition from other modes of entertainment for films like the OTT. We know that with the coming of OTT, things have become very different. We can see the best of cinema with our smart TVs, which are large screened and also have the wonderful effects that we see in the film theaters, all available in our own homes. So that has become one important challenge that the films are facing today. And in this era, some people, some of the film pundits also assume that films will, on the silver screen, will slowly vanish, they will slowly go away. So other than that, there is also scope for future development in terms of film tourism. Depending upon the kind of locales that a film shows, a lot of people like to visit those places, those countries within India as well as outside India. Then there is more skill enhancement, because with the coming of digital technology, the something that we could not expect is being possible today. So skill enhancement is of greater value today in the times of films and digital era. Then there are also business opportunities like in film advertising. You would often see hero or a heroine holding a brand of a product for a few seconds, a few split seconds, and then it goes away. This is called in film advertising, when a brand is being shown in a film and indirectly it is being endorsed by the protagonists. There is this factor of upgrading with new technology and 3D films coming into picture. Virtual reality is something that we're talking about. In fact, not just 3D films, we have already ventured into 7D films. And there are also greater number of interactive narratives. When I say interactive narratives, what I mean is, order to make it more interactive, they want to build a narrative which will go on with the audiences back home. And people will keep talking about it. People would like to discuss about it. Also, when you look at the OTT platforms which run parallel to the silver screen, you would see that at times the ending of a film or of a series there would be two endings, and one could choose which ending one would like. So if you say, for example, press the red door, you would come across a different kind of ending as compared to a yellow door, which would find a different kind of ending. So this is what we mean by making the narrative more interactive. This is also happening in films just the way it is happening in OTT. This is also a field with high demand for skilled manpower these days. With the coming of more technology in editing, in post production, even scripting. So, dialogue writing, graphic, drawing artists for storyboards, we require skilled manpower for all of these things. Also, songwriting, composing, music direction, sound studio personnel, voiceover requires manpower and skills. Then also set design. We require designers, we require builders of sets. Lighting involves the gaffer, the light boys, the electricians. Costumes involve designers, resource persons, costume managers, and so on. For planning, we require location, a shoot schedule, and shooting permissions. Camera persons require focus pullers, camera assistant, equipment handling people, supporting actors or the lead actors, the side actors, the dancers. Choreographers take care of the action sequences and the dance sequences. Editors take care of the music editing, the film editing, and the promo editing. Also, there are certain special effects which make use of animations and special effect artists and color correctors. These are all skilled aspects of filmmaking. Then we also require people who can market the film. So promoters, media planners, coordinators, and distributors are all required one after the other. Telling you of what all job scopes exist in this huge industry, which has from being one language mode become regional language mode to becoming international, getting into diaspora, and the digital films coming into India. There is so much job scope for skilled people. I hope you stood benefited with this insight on Indian film industry, and this will definitely follow up with more of such lectures. Thank you very much.